Hello, everybody. It's been a while. I thought I'd touch base today and let everybody know that we are alive out of the hurricane, barely. The hurricane hit us head on where we live, and we stayed in our fifth wheel camper. They wanted people to evacuate, but money wise, and my husband's disabled, and things that, happened, we couldn't leave. We have three fur babies, dogs back there, and we have a life, and this is where it is, and we couldn't leave. So we stayed because my husband has no family, and my family are old and can't help. And you know how friends are, they're just friends. That's about what they are. And, you know, some of them helped, some of them didn't, but they weren't going to help us get out of here. We knew that we had to make a decision, and that was the decision. We stayed. So I'm going to fill you in a little bit before I do a reading. Um, we stayed. We slept in our clothes that night, just in case. Um, I went to bed, and my husband said he was going to stay up on and off all night, just watching. I said, okay, I need to get some sleep. So about 4 o'clock, I went to bed in the morning. And at 8:30, he woke me up and he said, you need to get up. So I come out, and the wind was going around and rain was pounding down, and it was getting hairy out there. And he went back to check on the dogs. They were all in the back bedroom. At that point, we heard a crunch, and we have a garage right near our camper. We live in a fifth wheel camper. And we heard a crunch, and I felt something. I was standing right over there. I have a skylight just above me, and then this drawer right here, and I was standing just beyond it. Luckily, I wasn't sitting here because the skylight is right over me. So what happened was a giant tree uprooted completely and hit our garage, pushed the garage into the camper, and a limb came through the skylight. Not a big limb, probably about maybe, I don't know, 12 inches, come in through the skylight. And this drawer right here pushed out. And I didn't know why. I kept trying to push it back in. And then after the tree had landed on us, I felt a gust of wind. So my husband had told me about 8:30 when he woke me up, he was looking out the window and seeing a mist, like a white mist, and it was going around. So what we found out was that hurricane was kicking out tornadoes. And on our road, the tornado just annihilated everything. I mean, our road, you couldn't get in or out. So anyway, my husband come out, he's like, "Are you all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm all right." When the tree had landed, it came through the wall over here and pushed the drawer out. That's why the drawer was out. So there was a limb probably about this big in the drawer, about this big in our satellite. And we didn't know. I mean, all we could see out the windows was tree, like brush, like we were in a tree, which we really were. Um, so then when the rain stopped, we had rain coming in through our skylight, through our cabinets, through everything. We had buckets, we had garbage cans. We were trying to, catch the water as it's coming in. And I remember when the rain finally let up that we started going outside to see what happened. The water in areas, we're not really in a flood zone, but there is low-lying areas in our yard where it does get a little flooded, but it's usually gone by the next day, noon. Well, it was all flooded through where we walk through to go out front because we have fences. And we got out front, and our yard, we have an acre of property here. Our front yard was just all tree. You couldn't see the road. You couldn't see the neighbors' houses. You couldn't see anything but tree, just branches everywhere. So we had no idea, where to start. I mean, with that kind of thing, you really don't even know where to start. We had lost our electric the night before, so we didn't have any electric. Um, there was no tornado warning of any kind. They did give a warning to evacuate. Uh, all of our neighbors stayed. None of them evacuated. Um, Most people on this road got either roof damage, vehicle damage. Now, when the tree came down and hit our camper, it not only hit our camper, it went through our windshield and our only vehicle. So we didn't even have a vehicle to go get any uh, supplies or water. We had stocked up. For some unknown reason, the night before, I make homemade dog food and I use a pressure cooker type thing, an Instapot. So I need electric and this and that. I don't know why, but the night before I decided to make a loaf of bread and make about 5 days worth of dog food. Oh, gosh, I did that because that was a lifesaver. Because I think, there's no coincidences really, and me and my husband have thought about it. And I think we were preparing for this hurricane before we even knew about it because we had got supplies, and a friend of ours that my husband knows real well, he had had a generator. He had two of them. He had one that was new that he was going to use, and if he needed it, and he had another one sitting there. And my husband likes to tinker around with, machines. So he gave him the generator. He says, see if you can fix it. Oh, my husband says, yeah, I can fix it. He says, you know what, just keep it. So we had been given a generator a month before this all happened, and my husband got it running. I mean, it ran okay. So we had the generator, which was kind of coincidence that it was there, and we had got prepared. That was a plus. So 6 days later, as we were all cleaning, everybody is cleaning. I mean, you can see the whole neighborhood. Oh, that morning, nobody could get out of either side of road. You couldn't get out to the main highway. You couldn't go that way. You couldn't go down any side roads. You could not get out of here. I mean, we were all trapped by trees and electric lines down. And so all of a sudden you see all the neighbors. We're all coming out to the front to make sure we're all alive. Even some of them we didn't even know, but we got to meet and it was wonderful. But everybody come out to the road to see if everybody was alive and everybody was okay. No one died in this hurricane, which is amazing because it devastated our little town. I mean, literally, you could go drive down the town and there were just trees in every alley, in every place. Dollar Tree got glass blown out. I mean, it's just unbelievable is what it is. Okay. So we're all out on the roads, and now you see people with pickup trucks with chainsaws and tractors and this and that, and people are just moving trees off the road. So within a couple hours, we were able to get out to the main highway. If anybody needed to, we were able to. But I mean, where are you going to go? I mean, everything's closed. There's a hurricane. We just got blown away, basically, and we're all in destruction, and we're all in just shock and awe. I mean, it was just total shock and awe. So we didn't know how long the gas was astronomical to keep the generators running. I mean, literally, we lost all our freezer food. It was just packed. I had zucchini bread, meat, and whatever. We lost it. We had to get ice. The neighbor over here, he had taken my husband, and he's got an ego trip from he wouldn't even stop to get a bag of ice for my husband, knowing that we didn't have a vehicle. He has two vehicles and two houses. His house is next door. It got pretty messed up, but we realized that when this happened, who your friends are, who are going to help you, and you know what? There wasn't that. The ego trip guy, which has been a friend of a long time, we still love him. I mean, I guess it's his ego. He's just Mr. Proud Man, and some days it's not going to work out. But anyway, he says, me first, and we'll get my place clean, and your place will be next, and da da da. And I looked at my husband, I said, oh no, we have a tree on our camper that we're still living in, and we have water leaking down in our camper that we're still living in. And we have 3 dogs. We have to take care of ourselves before we go over and do all Mr. Ego's stuff, because my husband had been helping him for 2 days, and here we are. I'm dripping. We have no generator running at that point yet, 2 days later. And Mr. Ego over there has fans going and all kinds of stuff. And we're over here dying. And my husband's over there helping him. That ended. 2 days after that, we started worrying about ourselves. So we got to meet the ladies next door, wonderful ladies. They let us do, they invited us for a steak dinner. It was really nice. They did our laundry, because we were hand washing our laundry with a drywall mixer, spinning the laundry, getting it all clean, and then hanging it. We had a little makeshift line because what happened was is our whole fence where our dogs run in the back, it was all down. It was blown down, a lot of it. And so we couldn't let them out. So in the midst of this flooding and the first day, my husband's taking some of the wire fence down and making a small makeshift area where we can let the dogs out and they can go to the bathrooms. We're walking through water doing all this. I mean, both of us were just, we didn't know where to start. It was like, what do we do? So we just kept doing things and things started coming, together. And here we are. We're still alive. The generator money was a lot of money to keep the generator running. We didn't have electric for 6 days. The electric company did a really good job, though. They had it within 6 days, they had our electric on, which I was amazed. I figured it'd be like a month because every pine tree, we're the pine tree capital of Florida, and every pine tree was on a line, electric line. So I was like, geez. Sorry, I need some coffee. So anyway, 6 days later, we had our electric on, and we couldn't go anywhere because we had a broken windshield. And, I'm going to tell this little story real quick because 2 years ago, I had a dream. I'm always in a foreign country when I'm having dreams, and I was lost. And I met a merchant, and he was an older gentleman, and I really couldn't understand him very well. I couldn't understand his name, so I called him Lucky. He was the most wonderful man I had met in a long time. He helped me so much in this dream find my way back to a hotel where I was staying in this dream with my friends that could understand me. And I remember that dream very, very vividly. Well, about a year after I had that dream, a gentleman up around the corner that always went by noticed my husband's banana trees. And he stopped and he said, banana, banana. And he's Cuban and he's been here for 40 years, but he doesn't like the English language too much. And he doesn't speak a lot of English, little bits and pieces of it. So they kind of did, we call it charades, where we figured out what he wanted and he gave him a couple banana trees for free. So we all kind of became friends, just him stopping by and beeping and, talking and us trying to figure out what he was saying. And then we got online and, figured out a gracias amigo and, little bits because neither of us know Spanish either, which probably didn't do us any good. But anyway, he started stopping by more and more, and we became really good friends with him. Well, the one day I had went out, my husband was more friends with him than I was. So quite a few times I'd go out, he'd bring us some duck eggs and stuff, and I'd thank him. And the more I was around him, the more the things that he did, the more I realized he was lucky in my dream. Because I tend to meet people in my dreams like a year or two before I actually meet them in real life. And I knew right away that he was lucky. He was the guy that I met in my dreams for some unknown reason. So during this whole thing, when we didn't have a vehicle, we didn't have the money, we have collision. So we didn't have the money to fix our windshield right now. And my husband gets disability. We don't get much money. We live paycheck to paycheck, just like almost every other American person. Unless you're in the club, and we ain't in the club. So Lucky said he's got a truck and a car, and every day he goes to Winn-Dixie because he's got goats and stuff like that. And he gets food for them. So he passes our house every day. So he says, my truck, your truck. So every day he'd go to Winn-Dixie, he'd stop and pick my husband up, and then we'd borrow his truck. And I felt like This guy rescued me in my dream, and now he's rescuing us right now because he's letting us go and get supplies. He's every day. I mean, he'd stop every day, and we didn't need it every day, but every day he'd stop, my truck, your truck. So we'd put some gas in it. And he'd go, no, no. And he'd give us money back. He gave my husband $50 one day. And my husband's like, no, I want to put gas. No, no. So it's been, I'm going to cry a little bit. It's been a really humble experience. So then other people I've walked away from. You've got to look at it this way. What kind of friend are they? When they question your friendship after you've done so much for them and they've done nothing in return, you have to walk away. It's time. You need to walk away from people. There's a reason why you come in contact with people. And it might be only for a short time. It might be your learning experience or their learning experience. It all depends. But it was meant to be. But sometimes they just end real quick. And I had some friendships end real quick. So that's part of the story. So we had Lucky's truck, and what was really interesting? We were driving around in a maroon 1995 Chevy pickup truck with no air. He doesn't like air, he likes the heat. And we've got the wings. Remember the wings in the car, which was because it's hot down here. And it was nice breeze, and he's got these purple sunglasses on the dash, and there's Spanish music playing. And one day I drove downtown. I used his truck and I drove downtown. I'm picturing I'm driving downtown in 1995 Chevy pickup truck. We've got the purple shades here, and I'm listening to his music, and it was actually relaxing. I didn't understand what the music was saying, but the melody was really relaxing. So that's the story about Lucky. He came to our rescue again. He came to my rescue in a dream, and he came to our rescue again. And he's family. No matter what, we'll play charades for the rest of our life. Maybe we'll learn more Spanish. Maybe he'll learn more English, but he's Lucky, and we love him. So anyway, that's what's going on. My brother did a GoFundMe page for us. And, a GoFundMe will give you a shock and awe moment because, I've got a lot of friends on my Facebook. I've known a lot of friends for a long time, and my husband does. And let me tell you, your friends that you've known for a long time will not give a dime. And guess what? They won't even message you and say, are you okay? Nothing. So you will find out who your friends are because the GoFundMe page, a lot of them I've never even met in person. I've only met them online. A lot of them were my spiritual friends. And a lot of them I knew couldn't because I know their money situation and we get it. But a lot of them, jet setters, drinkers, partiers, lots of money, helped them before. My brother helped them before, helped their family. You help all these people and you realize that when it gets going, they ain't going to help you. So, a lot of it was an eye opener, and I'm glad it opened our eyes to who is really in your corner and who's not, because you're going to meet your tribe, and your tribe is coming. You got to weed your tribe out and you got to find out who the good ones are and who the bad ones are, because you will get bad ones. So we did raise enough money to get a windshield. We just finally got our windshield fixed the other day. So we were without a vehicle. This happened on August 30th. Our electric got turned on September 6th. Our internet, we lost our internet on our computer, and we didn't get that hooked up until I think it was the 11th. They were pretty quick. But we didn't get our windshield done until a couple days ago. And that was wonderful because we were able to just have a vehicle again. And when you don't have a car and you can't go anywhere and you need help and you need supplies, it's rough. So that's where we are right now. We're still raising money because my husband lost his whole garage, and that's where we kept everything. He had his tools and he had everything, and you can't get insurance on a camper or trailer in Florida. So we knew that right away that we weren't going to have any insurance. And people would make comments, well, you should have had full coverage. Well, buddy, if you want to buy my full coverage insurance for my car, how about it? Because my husband's disabled and we live on a very fixed income, and full coverage is not in the income. It's basically survival. People don't know your story, but they try to assume that I would have full coverage insurance on my car, so you should have that. Well, it doesn't work that way because some of us aren't in the club. So anyway, I decided to do a collective reading today because I think we all need one. There is a lot of things going on right now that people don't realize. Be careful with the AI. There's a lot of AI, artificial intelligence appearing, cartoon characters, AI voices, things like that. Be very leery of that because this is an AI war right now. And we need to know if they're real or they're robots or they're AI because most of this crap is AI and robotic. So be very careful. That is a warning that we all need to take heed of. So this reading, let me tell you something. When I started meditating on this reading, cards just flew out. I hadn't done a reading since all this happened. I've done a little bit of meditation, but I haven't been able to do a lot because we have been so busy trying to get our property put back together. I'm going to put a link on my GoFundMe page. If anyone can help, even if it's a tiny bit, we would greatly appreciate it because we're still coming out of the depths of the hurricane and we need a lot. So there it is. Now for our reading, let's put the specs on and get it going. The first card that I pulled that got pulled out, that flew out, was really interesting. It's an 11. Heaven on earth. Separation is an illusion. Central alignment, the 11 of earth, is a balancing and realigning card. And you know what's interesting? Julia Stubbe, the Galactic Channel, did a realignment for me. I was really, when this hurricane happened, I was really out of balance. I was really off my. I needed to come back, and she really helped me. She's amazing. So look her up. Anyway, spiritual beings in a physical body. It suggests it is now time to keep yourself centered and in harmony with the world around you by banishing the illusion of separation. This is a great card. You are a spiritual being, a soul living in a physical body in order to experience and learn from life. You are here to learn from those experiences in order to grow and evolve. It is important to integrate and ground your belief in a higher power. Here on the physical plane, now that spirit, the divine, dwelleth in all things on earth, sky, and water. Honor spirit here on earth. To be spiritual does not necessarily require that you pray or follow a particular religious path. Spiritually is about connection. You know what? I've been really trying to connect with the earth more. I already do. I already ground a lot, but with this hurricane and what happened to this ground, it opened up a lot of things. When me and Julia did the grounding, I had an Indian girl come out on this property. We still have some things. There's a lot of Indian stories in this area. There was a lot of, I had another friend that had a house, and I told her that as soon as I came down her driveway, I could feel it. There was some negative stuff going on. And when she bought the property, she had hematite all over. Somebody had put hematite all over around the front door. So they had known that there was negative energy. And what was interesting about this hurricane information, that the hurricane, when my husband was outside, he come in and he says, "What's this?" I found it outside. He says, "That's hematite. That's ground you, that it's negative energy. It helps negative energy." So there's hematite. People have hematite all over down here on these properties. There was a lot of Indian stuff going on. And when she did that reading, I said I seen an indigo type shadow around me, which we banish because there's some negative energy coming around. And a little Indian girl come out and she said, "Do you see any more?" And I said, "There's a few more little Indian children behind her." And we helped her go back to her ancestors, and she had come back and she thanked me. So there is a lot of things, and I still feel that there's some heavy energy on this property, which I'm going to work on here real soon. So we are going back to the heaven on earth. We are rebuilding. It's time. There's some other things that are going on in this area that one of these days I will cover. There's some big businesses closing down, and these big businesses caused a lot of chaos because we used to have healing springs right up the road from us, and people used to come for miles to be healed in the springs. Florida has the most springs in the United States, and there was 2 healing springs hotels that were burnt down when these big companies that are leaving now came in. So there's a lot of history here, and a lot of things gonna be changing. Now, with that card, the Ace of Pentacles come out. Prosperity. So I really feel that, this is money coming. You receive a reward or gift, you see an opportunity, you generate income. The advice is maximize your good fortune and make your money work for you. You deserve it. It's time. So I really think that the heaven on earth and the prosperity are a great card to go together in this reading. I mean, it made me feel better when those 2 cards come out in our this collective reading. Another card that I received was this one, the 9 of Water. And this is opening your heart. Past experiences leave emotional imprints, shine your light. The very first thing to be born in the darkness of the void is light. The 9 of Water represents a need to embrace an open heart and allow the light of love and transformation and healing emotional pain. This is a card that I'm working on because right now in my world, you realize that you have no family, you have very little friends, you have you. I said to my husband, we are not waiting for anyone. We are helping ourselves right now. And if we can help anybody else, we will in the process, but we are not waiting on anyone. So this makes a lot of sense. Ignorance is not bliss. Break the cycle, remove the emotional hooks, the weight of emotions, emotional enlightenment, the process becoming lighter. We have to realize the effects of the past and the moments, and these people that we thought were our friends forever, 20, 30, 40 years. No, it was a learning experience. They were passing through when they needed to pass through. And now we need to shine the light back on ourselves and work on ourselves. Yes, help people in the process, but there is a lot of people that are walking away from you, and they are not. This was a real eye opener for me, because I have people that are from school. I have people, and I know some of them don't have money. I get that, but I have friends that I thought were friends, and oh my goodness, they didn't even say, "Hey, are you okay?" That was the biggest thing. I had people going, "Girl, you can do this. You can get through this." And let me tell you, that really helped. But when you hear crickets and nothing from anyone else and they know what you're going through, not even a, "Are you okay?" That's really hard on the heart. Trust me. 6 of Swords, calm. It's time to glide into more peaceful, calmer waters. So this is a reassurance card. If you have suffered upheaval, conflict, and uncertainty recently, the 6 also predicts physical journeys over water and in general sees you moving on a positive way. New work may also be on the horizon, an additional meaning to protection in that you are prioritizing what's important to you and leave behind the people of situations that no longer serve you. What did I'm telling you, these cards were amazing because it represents everything I'm going through, and I'm sure a lot of you are going through the same thing. I know a lot of us are still walking. We're always going to walk through the dark night of the soul. I hate to tell you this. It's always going to happen. Now, this card come out. It's the Two of Water. It's the Lover card. But this card right now for me represents the balance, the masculine and feminine of one's self. This to me right now in this reading has nothing to do with lovers, marital, man and woman, outside of yourself. We need to balance the masculine and feminine because we have that. And we have the choice between good and evil. It's always going to be there. We are the balance being. We have to balance ourselves. It's so the Two of Water represents relationships that have been moved beyond physical attraction to one's built. But I don't feel that this is that. I feel that this is we need to come in balance with our masculine and feminine. We need to come in balance with ourselves. And that's what I'm feeling with this card. Because the card that came out with that is stability, it's strength. It's the strength card. This card shows patience in the face of conflict. You stand your ground rather than being overwhelmed. Stand firm, be calm, and take the higher moral ground. The situation is a test of your character, and you are resilient and patient enough to withstand ongoing challenges without panic or compromise that doesn't feel right. These are perfect cards for me right now. I don't know how, and I'm sure everybody's going through the same stuff. But these cards are amazing. So now I got a new tarot deck in the midst of all this, just before I had ordered this before the storm. This is the Gateway of Light Activation Oracle. And this is the first card I've got to pull, that came out that I've used this deck. Look at that card. Divine protection, cords cut, breakthrough energy. Sword of Light. Let's read this beautiful card. The Sword of Light is the main energetic tool of Archangel Michael, the Prince of Heaven. His name means he who is like God, and he is considered Source's right-hand man. He is the archangel who has chosen to guide and protect all light workers. Anyone who is feeling called to make a difference on this planet can be guided and supported by him. The Sword of Light has been pictured as both a spear of light and a lightning bolt. Either way, it's a powerful symbol of truth and spiritual power. Even through it is carried by Michael. It can be invoked by all of those working in the light to help them move beyond blockages and limitations and to sever cords of fear. Joan of Arc invoked it when she was going into battle. Connect. Visualize yourself engulfed in golden light. Say, Sword of Light, thank you for cutting the unnecessary cords that bind me to fear. I stand in truth and light, fulfilling the call of my soul. Your message, when this card comes to you, know that it is confirmation that you are walking the path of light and responding to pre-incarnation soul contracts to make a difference on the planet. It's also a sign that you have the opportunity to sever connections to fears and limitations. Energetic cords bind us to situations, loved ones, and even the past. But you are in transition now and detaching from unnecessary connections, dramas, and fears. Know that there will be a great severing at this time, and you might feel isolated for a moment as you will be reconfiguring your circle. Interesting, huh? Of trust and moving into a life that is in greater alignment with your highest good. Know that the cords that bind you to loved ones and soul family will remain intact. It's only the lower vibrational connections that are being severed. Expect breakthroughs and doors of opportunity opening for you. If you feel strongly connected to Archangel Michael, know that his energy is with you now. That, after what I just said, people, that tells the story. And I also pulled a soul helper oracle. Can't go out. That's a 39, which is a 12, which is a 3, which is the Trinity. The time of guilt and shame ends now. Forgive yourself and begin to love yourself just as you are. Look at that card. And you know what's interesting about that card? Yes, the other day I was sitting here and I always watch the animals. I've been feeding them, and I got squirrels and birds and everything. And I had a little bird that flew on the line, and I noticed it had a little bit of blue in it. And it was two very immature bluebirds that flew in, and usually they'll pass through. And I thought it was interesting. It was like this bluebird on your shoulder. And I had said something in a interview a while back with Sheila. I don't know if her and Lisa remember it, but I had mentioned the bluebird on my shoulder. And we had the baby bluebirds out here, and I took a picture of them, and they were so cute. They didn't even have the orange on their chest yet. They were starting to, and they had just a little tiny bit of blue on their tail, but they were so cute. And I thought, no, bluebirds are so lucky. Maybe this is a message that things are going to get better for everybody. So let's see what she has to say. You have done something wrong. You have made a wrong decision or allowed your baser emotions to lead you astray. But you now have the inner greatness, the self-awareness and ability to be true to yourself, to recognize this, but have you also asked for forgiveness? Whatever is weighing you down in your past or present, whatever makes you feel small or bad, whatever you are remorseful about, now is the time to transform it. Mistakes are made so we can mature, so we can learn from them and grow. The time has come to forgive yourself. You have drawn this card because you have been feeling remorse or even shame, perhaps only recently or for some time. However, it's okay. You have recognized it and you are sorry. So forgive yourself so that you can return to your soul path and continue on. It's cheerful and with a light heart. Begin to love yourself just as you are, with all your weaknesses and strengths. The more you accept yourself and acknowledge every side to your nature, the more complete and fulfilled you will be. Get rid of all your emotional baggage and show yourself kindness and mercy and start to love yourself completely from now on. This love will then lead you to new dimensions. Conduct a small forgiveness ritual. The time has become to release all feelings of guilt and shame. The darkness never stops spinning its web in an attempt to catch and paralyze us, spreading its base vibrations and weaving them around us and ensnaring us. Recognize this and free yourself from the web. Humility and representatives are good, but do not become trapped in them. Your helpers for the next 21 days. The power animal is the J. Herbal essence is the Damascus rose. Healing crystals are pearl, and the number is 3. Trinity. That was a beautiful reading, everybody, and it really hit home with me. So I don't know how it felt with you. The number 3 indicates that now is a good time to take care of your soul families, both in this world and in others. Make contact and tell them that you love and need them. They will hear you. You will find strength, healing, and answering among those closely connected to you. This number teaches you to look at everything, to become an observer, and wisdom will come. Number 3's energy field brings about diversity, creativity, creative energy, the overcoming of duality, and understanding and seeing the world of the divine. Well, this reading, I can't even say anymore. We need to create our heaven on earth, and we will find the prosperity. The Jubilee is going to come, whether we think so or not. It is going to come. And we need to get back with nature and start meditating again to bring the calm back. And we need to balance our masculine and feminine with our inner child, because that will bring us the strength. And the sword of light, the divine protection, the cords cut, the breakthrough of energy. We're going to cut the right cords. We're going to keep the right people in our lives. And it is time to stop the guilt and shame and love oneself. So that's my story. I know it's a little long today, folks. I don't like to keep you. I know you want to go out and do some earthing and enjoy your beautiful day. And I'm going to go out and keep creating the devastation that came in us and create beautiful again. It took us a while to get here, but it take us a while to get back. But guess what? We're going to create heaven on earth, all of us together. And I want you to remember, I love you all. And may every step in your journey be magical. And guess what? Just be you.